It's Friday. And like many of you, you are probably more than likely either at work, or if you're not at work, you're excited for the weekend. And that's a good thing, because having joy in this thing called life doesn't always come so easy. And if you are able to have it in this moment, then kudos to you. Congratulations to you. Somebody today needs to hear a good word. And I wish I can be the one to give you that good word. But the reality is this. What you are feeling is something that every single person feels as well. They are the same ones who are smiling right along with you and laughing and joking. On the inside, they're dying slow. And they're not telling you that they're feeling the same pain that you're feeling. I say all that to say this, that you are not alone in this. And whether you know it or not, you have a partner willing to go through the entire process and battle this thing through. If you are somebody who is thinking of harming themselves or harming somebody else, please don't. The effects of your decisions are not only life-lasting for those who survive it, but it's very damning on those who love you. And as a person who has had to go through the process of trying to understand how lonely it must have been, or what did I miss, or did I say I love you enough, I can assure you one thing, that while you may not have been able to complete the fight, many of us will still be finding ways to fight back the urge to figure out why. So before you make a decision that you can live with, make the decision that everyone around you can live with as well. Contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. And if for some reason you just don't feel comfortable doing it, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than willing to make myself available to you, just in case you're wondering. All you have to do is simply send a message in a video, email, Instagram, wherever you can. Give me time to get to it, and I promise you I will, with a simple title of We Need to Talk, and I will be there for you every step of the way. And if you don't know what to do, you're just not quite sure of what to do next, then there's ways for you to get help without even having to reach out. You can go into BetterHelp, a place where you can get therapy and other types of services that can help you in making sure that you understand what you're feeling. I would not miss my opportunity to help somebody else again. And if you know anything about this thing called life, it's all about chances. So make the best of yours. Let's talk football. What's going on, Pride Nation, and welcome back to another Field Review podcast show where we talk all things what? Detroit Lions. Yeah, I said it. We talk Detroit Lions because this is what we do here on the Field Review podcast show. And if you're looking at the thumbnail and you're paying attention, yeah, it's one of them days. It's a collab day. It's a day to rejoice. You see, there's very rare times where I come across things that I just get excited about. Okay? And I'm talking about the Questionable Podcast Show. This is a show that I not only think that you should subscribe to, I think you might find a nice little nestle of a place called home in their podcast. It's entertaining. It's informative. And if anything else, they know their sports. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into who's in the building with us. You are on mute, Rumble, just so you know. We got my co-host, my man, Lions Rumble.
What up, though?
Yes, sir. What's going on? All right. And then we got one of the trio, one of the I'm gonna say the more philosophical one. He's got me on the Greek yogurt kick. He got me feeling real good about Greek yogurt. I'm talking about my man Miko. What's going on, brother?
What's good with you, man? See how
smooth the voice is. I guarantee you, ladies, if you're listening, he's probably gone already. And more than likely, if you really listen, you're gonna know he's gone. Just want to put it out there. Go watch how you do that. Watch this. Look at the laugh; it's even soft. Brother, what's going on, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Just trying to get through the day, man. Excited to be on here with you guys, be able to talk a little Lions. Sorry I couldn't bring my boys with me. They lagging behind a little bit.
That's okay.
But I'm sure they'll jump in.
If they come, they pop up, they pop up. The link is out there for them. They got it. We got it. We good. First of all, before we go any further, let's let the people know let's let the people know about the channel, what y'all doing over there, and how to find you. Oh, and by the way, it's linked in the description, at the bottom of the description. You simply go in there, it's under the guest, it's right there for you. Click the link, subscribe, like, comment, but tell the people, about the channel, bro.
Yeah, the Questionable Podcast, we've been around a little bit under a year. I think it'll be a year in July or so is when Scotty and I kind of started things off. And we just, Scotty and I are close friends in real life, and, always talking sports, always talking Lions. And as we started our apparel brand called Questionable Tees, we were like, yo, why not have a podcast as well, just to have a way of, putting out some content and having a way for us to talk Lions and sports. And those are two things that we're very passionate about. So it's been a great time for us to be able to put, the podcast out. The YouTube channel's only been up, I think, since like January, but we've been doing like the actual podcast since like July or so of last year. So we've been around for a little bit.
And again, people, right now we're trying to see if we can get to 1,000, and that's only going to happen, Pride Nation, with your help. So make sure you show some love as we talk about some Lions football. I plan on having a lot of fun today. I have no trigger alerts for people. You know what? I take that back. Take that back. I do. Yes, I do. I know. I got one question that's going to trigger a lot of people, but it's not my fault. It's really not my fault. I simply present what is in front of me. That's all I do. I'm not doing anything else, okay? But I do want people to I want people to be open to what's going to happen, because I think it's going to be some triggers. All right? Now, people, we're going to get right into this thing, because I can feel it all right. So I kind of been online. I was looking at some of these questions. I thought there were some good ones out there, so I decided to bring it up. The first question is, which Lions player in this year, not future, I know we love to project forward, but which Lion player this year do you think is flying under the radar that should have everyone's attention? Starting off with you, my man, Miko.
Yeah, man, no, this one threw me for a loop, because there's so many guys that I've seen talked about, and there's a lot of expectations for a lot of guys in key roles. So I went back and forth between two guys. One guy is in a role that's not really highly talked about, and then the other guy's in a role that's much more talked about. But I'm gonna go with my second choice, and I'm gonna say Julian Okwara. Julian is somebody that I think we've all been waiting on a little bit. We've all been waiting for him to pop off, but he's quietly been getting a little bit of praise from Kelvin Shepherd about, like, him moving into more of a linebacker role. And I'm starting to kind of get this idea that they're going to be using him in a lot more dynamic ways. And I think we're finally going to kind of get to see the Julian Okwara that we thought we were going to see when he was drafted a couple years ago. That's the guy that I think is kind of flying under the radar, because you have Hutch, you got Pascal. And there's been a lot of hype about those guys, as well as Charles Harris coming off of a big year. And then there's like kind of like some of us are still waiting to figure out what's going to happen with Romeo. So I think that kind of leaves Julian in the back, not getting the type of attention that we think he actually kind of deserves, where, I think this year he could be a really big year for him.
You know what? I honestly didn't even think about Julian at all.
Exactly. See,
I didn't think about Julian. I did, because, like, for me, when Julian came out of college, I was like, okay. That was my response. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's a good pick, not a bad pick. I'm saving mine for last, but that was a good one. It's already getting some triggers going. I'm already a little triggered, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. Rumble, what do you think? Who do you think is that player that the media and everybody should be paying attention to that's flying under the radar?
I'm going to go defense as well. I'm going to go Levi Onwuzurike. I think he is I think he's going to be that X factor on that line. I think he's going to demand more double teams. He's already came into camp in shape. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to that D line. I know we have Aleem McNeil there, but I think Levi is going to be the guy that's going to be the reason offenses can't run the ball up the middle. So that's going to be my sleeper.
No, you know what I forgot? I forgot to do. I forgot to shout the people out in the building. I got to do that real quick. I feel bad. Shame on me. You know, if y'all don't know, I'm disciplining the hell out of myself right now. We got people like my man Sweatbread says, "What up, Luke? Let's get started right now. Let's go." He's ready to go. But we got my man out to Detroit Forbidden Knowledge. We got Dan Spanos in the building. We got my man Chrome. Obviously, Lions Rumbles in the chat checking it out. That fan man is in there. Mike Barker Hotmail. That's a hell of a name. Loving it. Says finally caught it at the start. Yes, sir. Antonio Jenkins in the building. That dude live. The blue boogeyman is in the building. I like that name too. Big G in Texas. What up, though? Detroit made me. I always liked that one. What up, though? Keep on going down. We got my man P. Williams in the building. We got my man Steven Westbrook is in the building. You know, if you're in there, man, put it in the chat so we can light it up. Now, here's my pick because I thought Levi's a good one because he definitely is under the goddamn radar. But y'all, if there was a bowl for who can have the most super under the radar players, y'all certainly came up with their names. There's no doubts about it. James Willis, what up, though? Detroit's on Big Wheel, what up, though? For me, the guy that's flying under the radar for me, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, it's Jeff Okudah, and I'll tell you why.
Please do.
Once they move this man to safety, his talents will fully be realized, and I'll tell you why. I think the Achilles is going to. I think in preseason you will see that he will be forced to move because I think they're going to have a lot of time to see him in 3 preseason games get exposed, and they're going to say, "Yeah, we better start grooming him for the safety spot." That's when you get the real player. That's when you get the stud and the guy who's going to come in and show you something different. Because at that point, I believe he'll be able to not only affect the game in a different way, but he will also be able to solve a problem that the Lions still have, which is one safety. I don't count Deshaun Elliott because I don't think he's going to make it past 6 games. I don't count him. I think Okudah is going to be the guy flying under the radar because and again, this is coming from a guy who said that he was a safety from the beginning and that he wasn't worth a top 10 pick. But I just feel like if there's ever a guy with a chance to be completely dismissed, it's him because I'm going to dismiss him as long as he's at corner. But at safety, my soul says yes. My spirit says yes. And I feel good about where he can go from there. That's my view. Feel free to rebuttal that if you like. I'm cool.
Well, yeah, I was going to let you, finish preaching for a little bit, but I do want to get your take on. I mean, because he was asked about that this week, right? In media availability, he was asked specifically about the possibility of him being moved to safety, and I believe his response was something along the lines of he's never played the position not once in his career, not in high school, in college, and they're not currently putting him at that spot now. And I think that would be my only hesitancy to believing that he'll ever make that move is that if they at least were considering it, I think he would be doing the same thing Iffy is doing right now, which is that he would be taking a couple snaps just to get him comfortable because he's never played the position before.
No, I feel you. But if you think that they're going to give you the entire playbook when they still got to be filming for Hard Knocks, yeah. I don't think they're going to give you too much of the playbook. But I also think if you listen to what the coaches said, they want the players to learn multiple positions. They didn't just extend that to Iffy or to Rodriguez or to no. Everybody needs to know more than one position. This is something that Glenn talked about. The best way for you to be a good player is to know other positions. And if you look at it, you certainly ain't putting them at linebacker. So he has to learn what the safety is going to be doing. And whether he played it or not, I get it. But I think at this point, they're still telling him, hey, we're going to give you a shot at corner. But if it don't work, okay, here's your options. To the streets or to the safety. I really believe that.
I guess my thing is, I don't know if they would do it this year then. If that's really in the cards for Jeff, I don't think – because I think they would have been doing it already. Right,
yeah, 17-game season, right? We got to give him a chance to look bad. He will look bad.
I don't think he'll be number 1 corner. I think he has to earn that. I think he might move down to 2 or 3. but I don't see him getting that. I just don't. Even though we drafted him that high, he's got to show it. He's got to show it, man. And if there's no trade bait for him, it's going to be hard. We're going to have to talk whether or not we keep him this year. So, yeah, I mean,
and I get it. I'm just saying that conversation has been had. It may not have been discussed out loud because they don't want to kill his confidence. But do not be surprised when it happens. Oh my God, is that my son? Oh God, kids, y'all gotta give me a minute. Give me a minute. If y'all, I don't know if y'all can see the chat. Give me 1 minute. I gotta grab my son. Well,
I was gonna say I wanted to address this comment right here, Detroit fan man, where he says, Luke may be right because he expects him to have that come to Jesus moment. He's going to have to get burned and replaced on the depth chart until he can commit himself to a position change. And that may be what it takes. I could definitely see that happen, right? That Jeff eventually is going to have to make that decision. But I don't think the coaches are looking at Jeff and saying, oh, he needs to move to safety. I think they want to give him every ability to show that he can still play corner and that he can play at a high level, or that he can play at a high level, that he can get to a high level. Because he hasn't really had that much time on the field. I think when we really take a step back and look at Jeff's career, he got to play a couple games his rookie year, and then he played not even a whole game last year before he's missed. So he's still, in my opinion, very raw. He's still very much in his infancy when it comes to NFL experience.
Yeah, I agree. He's still got a lot of tread on the tires, albeit he's coming off injury as such. But I mean, when was the last time he actually took contact? I mean,
right.
This guy he's still a rookie in my eyes, 10 games. I mean, that's
right.
You're still a rookie in my eyes. You haven't even completed a full season. And
I am back.
Yeah.
So my youngest son is in potty training.
Oh.
And he's potty trained. And so I hear him going, Daddy, I got a potty. I'm like, oh, no, can't miss that. No.
You got to keep him on track.
That's right.
You got to stay consistent.
That's right. So I had to take off running. I'm like, oh, gotta go get him. All right. So, I mean, I get it. I just feel like when you're talking about those under the radar guys,
what I was saying, like, while you were, tending to your son, is that, like, I think the coaches do want to give Jeff every opportunity to play at corner. I think Dan Campbell has even said as much, that they want to give him every opportunity because in their eyes, again, Dan saying this, that like he thought he saw even improvement in Okudah's first game before he injured his Achilles. That's, again, we can debate that here or there, but Jeff is still very much in his infancy in his career. He's like Rumble was saying, he's only played like 10 games, and I almost completely discount his first year because I believe Matt Patricia was purposely trying to set him up to fail, to prove to Bob Quin that he shouldn't have taken him, because we all know there was division about taking Okudah versus Derek Brown, and Matt Patricia wanted Derek Brown. So I believe Jeff has never really gotten the coaching he deserved until last year, and then that was cut short. Again, something else that he kind of drew attention to in his media availability, where he was like, he was really excited. He thought he was finally going to get a chance to put it all together. And we didn't even get a full game before, he's out for the season.
I mean, that's a fair assessment in my opinion, because the division was real. I read every article. I was so shocked to hear that Bob Quin basically heard that the head coach wanted Derek Brown, which I'm glad we didn't take him.
Mm-hmm.
And the scouting staff wanted Isaiah Simmons, and Bob Quin comes through and was like, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Okudah. So, yeah, when you have that kind of division, it's all bad. If I'm the chef and you tell me you want, chicken tartare, let me tell you what I need for the ingredients. Don't go out and get me stuff that's going to be made for a sweet potato pie and say, make it happen. So I get it, but it's one of them things where they're going to give him a chance to shine. He got 3 preseason games, in my opinion, to prove it.
Yeah, he's on the chopping block though, albeit because he's just these guys want competitors. They really want competitors. They want people who are going to be available out there in the field. I mean, these guys, we got laughed at because some of the guys we resigned, but those guys were there. Those guys showed up. Those guys did what they were told. Those guys played. So,
hey,
yeah, and
somebody's in the background waiting. Looking all handsome. That's right. I pay compliments to man. Don't start with me. We got another member from the Questionable Podcast. My man Scotty is in the building. What up, though?
What's happening, Luke?
What's up, man?
Hey,
it says, Luke, please never eat chicken tartare. You get my point. You get my point. I know what tartare is, but I'm just making the point. Like, if I ask for this stuff, get me my goddamn groceries. That's all I'm saying. Scotty, you actually ain't too far behind. I believe we did a good job stalling, and I had a bathroom break for my son, so that helped out too.
Okay, that's what's happening. Apologies, you guys. Family stuff. But happy to be here. Thank you for having us,
Scotty.
Really
you got to tell the people about yourself, man, and then I'll get you with the first question because we're still on the first question, so you can get your response in.
Okay, no problem. Where do you want me to start? Luke?
Tell them about yourself. Tell them about yourself, and Miko did a good job. He represented for y'all, but I don't know.
Oh, it's all good.
I don't know if he came through for real.
Oh, I'm sure he did. No, I trust in Miko. I don't worry about that. But
y'all see the love there. Talk to the people, Scotty.
It's trust, So anyway, so Scotty, questions here. So Miko and I, we started Questionable Tees. It all started because I met Darren years ago, and I asked him so many questions. I was such a big Darren McCarty fan that I listed like 40 questions, and he said, "Dude, like you have so many questions. Stop. I'm gonna have to call you Scotty Questions." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "That's not gonna stick," and it stuck. And so I was really not happy about it for a while. And at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, let me just lean into it. So Scotty Questions, Questionable Tees, being questionable, trying to be true to yourself and honest, and that is what we're trying to do at Questionable Tees. And so Miko is a co-owner of the company, and Gian Hendricks is he'll be joining us shortly, but he's a big part of the company and the podcast. And so it's something that we believe in, we want to push and promote. Again, it started around mental health and physical health and wellness is what the podcast started. But again, Questionable Tees is about being questionable, which is about being true to yourself, honest with yourself. And, like what Simone Biles did in the Olympics, that's a prime example of being questionable, where people judge you and they don't understand what you're doing, but you're doing the right thing. So all that said and done, that's where Questionable Tees kind of started and how we are here today. But me, myself, and I have been a creative director for, coming up on 20 years now. So I'm a creative. I've worked all over the world, working for ad agencies, different big brands, and so on and so forth. And so now we're creating some apparel, doing some freelance stuff. But what we really, our passion is creating apparel for Detroit fans. That's something that looks unique, something that's different, something that I want to wear that not everybody else has. That's what we're trying to do. Miko, is that all right?
I just love it. Again, it is in the description, people. If you wasn't paying attention, it is linked in the description. Please, we got to get them to 1,000 before the season start, and it's only going to work if you guys are going out spreading the word. Nothing spreads faster than word of mouth, other than the C word that we can't say on here without getting in trouble. Okay, so make sure we get down to it. Scotty, as we get into this first question, it's very simple. Which Lions player do you have basically flying under the radar this year? Now, who you think in the future? We know that we have expectations, but who do you think is flying under the radar? Is going to be 100% phenomenal for the Lions this season, and people should take notice.
I have two people.
It's going to get interesting.
I have two. Reynolds, wide receiver. I think he's
really.
Yeah, I think that because DJ Chark's here, because Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing what he's doing, I'm curious as to where Reynolds will fit in. I mean, he could potentially have a lot of opportunity like TJ Hockenson, like they're not used to having. So I think that's somebody that's flying under the radar that could have a very solid season. I'm not trying to say spectacular, but I think that to me is somebody that's surprising, that might surprise us, that might get more touches, and that's my gut there. And then I mean, my main man, Jamal Williams. I think that he's not happy with the season he had last year. He's not. And so I just think there's something there.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna rebuttal this. Is it safe for me? I feel that the season that he had last year should be the season he have every year because the feature back should be DeAndre Swift, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I am over this split carry trash. This doesn't happen in any other good backfield tandem at all. And every good tandem you look at, from the Kareem Hunts to the Chubbs, there's a clear number one. There's no mistaking about it. Even with the Bengals, had they just ran the ball, Joe Burrow would have been a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but they didn't. The Lions running backs rushing attempts are just too close, and I don't want to hear, oh, it's because of injuries. The hell with that. They was doing this even split for the whole season, and it was making me want to puke.
Sorry, I lost you guys for a minute there.
No, you're good.
Deuce kind of stated something about that too. I don't know if maybe Swift was injured or wasn't playing through things, but it kind of we know what Jamal can do. Like if Jamal says he's injured, we know he's injured. He doesn't shy away from contact. But
Jamal Williams is a hot button issue for Luke. Yes,
because it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Why is he the starting running back? I don't care what the depth chart say. When the game came on, he was the starting running back, and I'm like, why? The team is more.
It never made sense to me. Look, Scotty, I love Jamal too. I love Jamal's personality. I love Jamal and I are like kindred spirits when it comes to just like being a big kid, right? And I love that about Jamal. But when it comes to like seeing my football team be successful, I want to see DeAndre Swift. That is who I want to see lined up in the backfield more times than not. Mm-hmm. And the only time I want to see Jamal in, again, is in short down situations. I don't care if you want to get him in the red zone. If you feel like Jamal has a little bit more of a nose for the end zone, that's fine. I don't need DeAndre necessarily getting touchdowns, but I need DeAndre on the field to put pressure on a defense.
Hold on, but the question was he under the radar players though? I don't know if I missed. And
something. You're good. I don't think Jamal's going to fly under the radar because, like Luke said, I think what Jamal did last year is kind of what I expect Jamal to do. That's what you expect from your number, in my opinion. That's what I expect from my number 2 running back, is anywhere between 500 to 700 yards rushing, a couple touchdowns here and there. But again, DeAndre needs to stay healthy. But even when DeAndre is healthy, he needs to be getting the touches. He needs to be out there ready and available to make those plays. And the coaching staff needs to do more of that.
And the scary part is this. A lot of the things that I bring up, it was things that I noticed after like week 1, week 2, week 3. And I got irritated as the season progressed on, where they were literally getting to 14 carries and then putting in another running back. And people blame that on Anthony Lynn, but Anthony Lynn left because he wanted Swift to be the starter and they wanted it to be Williams. And so when you got two different perspectives in that regard, I can see it, but it's just, for me, whenever I watch this offense, we were way more explosive with Swift. Even in the Bengals game, we couldn't get no offense going, then boom, he breaks one.
Mm-hmm.
You have, but yeah, I got a few triggers. I thought I was gonna make it through the show without a trigger, but it didn't work.
Well, I got you early. What are you talking about?
Got me real quick.
Get out the way.
Yeah, listen, I respect it. This is how I wanted to go. Keep them coming. I'm good. The next question is very simple. This one I saw is another question on the article, and I thought, what an interesting thing. So the Lions extend TJ Hockenson, and Scotty, since you came in a little bit season late, I'm gonna start this off with you. Should they extend TJ Hockenson?
Ooh, that's a good question because they're going to. So that's just the reality of it.
Okay. But should they?
They're going to. We talked about this in our latest podcast. Yeah, I think that they should. I think that he's a talent. I don't think he deserves top dollar, right? He shouldn't be the top paid. But we should extend him and we should pay him. I mean, he's been there for us. He's delivered when he's been healthy. My biggest thing with him is health, right? Can he stay healthy? That's where I get, a little iffy. But here's the thing: you need to expect them to be healthy and not injured, right? Like you can't. I mean, every football player gets injured, right? The ones with the bigger injuries is more concerning. I don't think TJ Hockenson has a huge injury history, serious injury history. Let me put it that way: serious injury history. So I think that yes, we should extend him. I don't think we pay him top of the league, obviously not, but he will deserve Njoku money, right? If not a little bit more. So I mean, and he's got a backup now. He's never had a true number 2 tight end. That's another interesting point, in my opinion.
That's another point that I noticed too. Like I never understood why people thought that he's going to get Njoku type money, but it's an interesting thing. But I get it. What say you, Rumble? Do you think the Lions should, not will they, but should they extend my man TJ Hockenson?
Should they? I'm kind of on the fence about this as well, but they should, only because like Scotty said, like when he's healthy, he's effective. I would like to see more red zone targets. I feel like the defense feel like they can kind of not pay as much attention to him in those areas. I feel like he should be more physical at times instead of trying to jump over and make like this spectacular play. Sometimes it's just best for you to lower your shoulder. I hate to say it, but sometimes it's just best for you to lower your shoulder. And then also I think he needs to improve on his run block. But I think this O-line and this team, I think this is his home, and I think they should re-sign him, just based off. I think he feels like he has something to prove as well, and this whole culture thing. I think he wants to be here, so I do think they should re-sign him.
And now the injury thing is interesting because I know that the year that he got shut down by Patricia, he technically could have played. Patricia just shut him down and was like, "We'll keep him for next year." So I don't count that. Again, anything with the word Patricia next to the end of it is pretty much a mulligan for me. So everybody, I mean, it's like you get a car, yeah, you get a chance, and you get a chance. You had who for a coach? Yeah, I mean, he almost made players quit. He alienated so many people. He had people who from little kid out the mom's womb football destined being like, I don't like football no more. It's nuts to me. That fat man says, I hate how Hockenson numbers are remarkably similar to Ebron's. This needs to have a big / promising year to extend. They're not similar.
I was going to say, well, even if is that yeah, I was gonna say even if the numbers were similar, impact is different, right? This is the thing that I sometimes like go back and forth with fans about is people want to go run to numbers and say, well, look at these numbers point to success. And I can just as easily say, but did you watch the game? Like, did you watch the games? Because if you watch the games, you would understand like impact. And TJ's impact is entirely different than Eric Ebron's was, right? We almost expected Eric to drop passes. Like every time it was thrown to him, we expected him to drop it. TJ, I'm surprised when TJ drops a pass because he's so sure-handed. I know you were probably going to get to me at some point, but like I'll just say right now, I expect him to get extended. I think he should be extended, and I'm a big proponent of paying your star players. You pay the guys that have that can make an impact on your team, and TJ is that guy. Like you said, Patricia year is a bit of a mulligan. Plus, it was his rookie year. Obviously, he had the great game against Arizona, and then like pretty much nothing else mattered. But again, that's kind of par of the course for rookie tight ends. I would say his second year, granted, it was with Matthew Stafford, but second year, no Kenny Golladay. You know, I think Marvin was in and out of the lineup with injuries. TJ shined. TJ was a go-to fixture of that offense, and he showed that he has the ability, maybe not quite to be Kittle, Kelsey, or Darren Waller, but he's like just a tick under that. He can be very impactful. He can be very consistent, and he can, again, do what Dan Campbell was talking about, which is when his number is called, he will make the plays that you need him to either move the chains, get a touchdown, And again, he's so impactful. I brought this up on our podcast. He's so impactful. They doubled him last year. Teams were doubling your tight end. That in itself should show you how much of an impact he has and that he can have on your offense. And those guys you pay. I know people want to argue about the money. Listen, that's the market. You pay what people are expected to get paid. Scotty and I were talking about this in real life situations. You pay what the market determines people should get paid, not what you think they should get paid. The market says that TJ should get 15 plus. You pay TJ 15 plus. That's just the nature of doing business at this point in the NFL,
especially these days.
Exactly.
Inflation too.
Plus, when I pointed out that it wasn't even close, I even took the intangible of impact out. I just took it out and said the numbers are not close, because if you look at Eric Ebron's seasons with the Lions, that's what you're comparing it to. When people say he has similar numbers, it's not even close. Eric Ebron had 53 receptions with the Lions for 574 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like
over how many years? Over 3 years?
I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back.
Oh, I was about to say,
let me go back.
Man,
can I do sound effects from my computer on this?
You can. It should still come through. It should still come through. Yeah. My bad, people. My bad. This is what happens when you are sleep deprived. My bad. Plus,
there it is.
It doesn't work. Uh-oh.
I love it. All right. Let me go back. My apologies. They're not similar, what I meant to say. And I meant to give you the stats to correct it. I was reading the wrong one. So Eric Ebron in the 4 seasons had 186 catches for 2,070 yards and 11 touchdowns in the 4 seasons. And TJ Hockenson had 160 catches for 1,673 yards and 12 touchdowns. So you may be trying to figure out, well, Luke, that seems like he's got more stats and it's much better. They're very close and they're similar, but they're not, because TJ Hockenson was averaging 4 yards a reception and 41.8 yards a game, whereas Eric Ebron was averaging 3.3 yards a reception and 37 yards per game. And this is the part that we got to take into the biggest factor. Eric Ebron averaged, because this is a word that gets tough. He averaged 4 drops a game, whereas TJ Hockenson averaged 1.5. They're not.
Come on now, people. They're not the same. Thank you. So for people who want to point to stats, there's your stats. They're not the same guy. And now, I get it. They were drafted in similar positions, and when you draft a guy that high, you're expecting a certain result. You're expecting Travis Kelce. You're expecting George Kittle. Again, I just think TJ could have had that year last year. He was on par to outdo the numbers he did the year before with Matthew Stafford. And then he got hurt. And I think TJ probably could have came back, but you were sitting at you were winless at that point, I believe. Or you maybe had 1 win on the season. What are you coming back to? For what?
Right. Like I said, I get it. In case you were wondering, we are on the show with the Questionable Podcast, gentlemen. We're missing one of the trio, but we still have 2 of them, and he's coming. But they are linked in the description, and we're trying to get those subs up. They talk about more than just the Lions, okay? They talk about more than just the Lions. I'm going to say it again because sometimes it misses people. They talk about more than just the Lions, and you should really dive into it, because their last show, I thought Miko, we usually agree on a lot of things, but he had said some things the last show about Jared Davis, and I was like, you know what? This is when you need a live, so I can go in there and be like, what you say? I need to explain that one.
Hey,
but
man,
I get it.
Hey, man, it's all love for JD. I just look, man. He's got a couple limitations. But I love JD. I love Jared Davis. I really do.
Here's my view, and shout out to my man Ramon the New Age. He says, let Hockenson walk. We can draft another late round guy and get that production. Here's my reason why they should extend him and why this statement I don't agree with. How long did it take us to even find a Hockenson? And that took us to be high to get him. If they were so easy to be found, then I would see way more tight ends getting took later because they're easy to find. They come a dime a dozen. But that's not what's happening. You're trying to find studs who are different and special. I will agree that his run blocking needs to improve 100%. I think he was doing good early on, but we the Lions, they threw a lot of flags, and he was getting tagged with a lot of those flags for that aggressive blocking style. but he's hard to find. And in my opinion, you have to extend that guy because he does still bring an added value to you. I understand that some great tight ends have been taken in the later rounds. I get it. But even they are outliers. The Kelseys are outliers. The Rob Gronkowski, who would have been a first-round pick, but dropped because he literally went to sleep on the floor for the Patriots interview. And Bill Belichick was like, I don't give a shit. The tape told me he's good. Right? So this is the reality. So, and you look at people like Pittman. Pittman should be, like, to me, Pittman's first season was a disappointment for me. There's nobody that should be able to cover him. Like he should have ran away with records. And obviously they're going to say, well, he had Matt Ryan. That's bull. So I get it, but I don't know if I'm ready to say let him walk. I feel like that's a little premature, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's very premature. Again, you have a rookie year that was, again, a rookie year. You have a really good year in his second year, and then you have a third year where he has no outside help. He had nobody on the outside until late in the season when Amon-Ra started to kind of come on and Josh Reynolds got added to the fold. But by that time, honestly, like by the time Amon-Ra was like where he's at now, where in our eyes of like, oh, he's on the cusp of being one of the great receivers in the league, TJ was already out. TJ was already done for the season. Yeah. So he's never gotten to play with this new collection of talent. And I do think we'll see a different TJ because you're going to have to account for DJ Chark, for Josh Reynolds, for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when JMO comes out, like you're going to have to account for all of these guys and you're going to have to decide, do we want to double a tight end again and get beat deep? Right. Or do we want to lock down the guys on the outside and hopefully TJ doesn't, pick up, first downs every single time they throw the ball?
Which is a good place. Shout out to my man Forbidden Knowledge who says, I'm subscribed. Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thumbs up. Thank you. That's how I should.
You pay a tight end
Tamiko's point. I want to jump in here, dude. Who else are we going to sign? We let him walk, then what? I mean, right now we have. What is he? Honestly, what is Hockenson? The top 20 tight end? I mean, top 15,
top
30?
I'd say 20, 18 to 20 range, maybe. At least in fantasy last year.
Just to be safe, top 25.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, but still, top 25 tight end right now. If we don't have him, then what? What do we have? A number 2 tight end again? Like, what are we going to do? Like,
well, we don't even know what James Mitchell is. That's the thing. We don't even know what James Mitchell is.
So we have all of this now. The wide receiver help. Like, dude, keep Hockenson for this year at least. I mean, sign it, but like we've never had this much up front in the offense. When was the last time we've had this? Honestly,
yeah, you can't say it.
When was the last time we had this? So why would you let TJ walk? Why?
And I think if anybody can fix him, it'd be Dan Campbell, a former tight end, and Ben Johnson, the former tight ends coach. I mean, now he's kind of upgraded a little bit.
I thought Ben Johnson was a quarterback's coach. I don't know. I can't remember this stuff.
He's coached quarterbacks in his career, but last year he was tight ends coach.
I can't remember this stuff. Come on, listen. You want to hear the sad part? Ever since I had the C word that I can't say over here, dude, you should see the things I forget. I literally have to keep handwritten notes so I don't forget stuff. So it's really hard.
That's just old age.
It could be that too. It could be that. Now listen. Here's the thing. Again, I get what the people are saying. I understand what they're saying, but I think when you look at it, if you jump on the inside to the tight end because he's killing you, then you're praying to God that Reynolds, Amon-Ra, and Chuck can get open. I'm not counting Jameson Williams. I don't think he helps us early on at all. But you're praying that those other receivers.
He was going to be my other sleeper, though, Luke. You're lucky I didn't go there.
I mean, you could have went there, but it's not hard to be a sleeper when you're not going to play until November.
You don't know that.
I don't think it's a sleeper when you're a first round pick either. Like
that's another good point, but
people don't expect.
I agree with Miko, man. That's a good point. Yeah.
So here's the next question. Let's jump into this right quick because this one right here, I have really been tackling this because I need somebody to help me. Okay. Starting with you, Rumble. How many Pro Bowlers are on the Lions offense and defense right now? Like, give me the number you think are Pro Bowlers on the offense and the number of Pro Bowlers on the defense.
I'm gonna go potential. No,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. I'll go 3 on offense, and I'm gonna go, man, defense.
And that's what I had. That's the problem.
I'll go 2
That's
defense.
the reaction.
I'll go 2 defense. I think if Aiden is able to instantly come in and create havoc, I think some of those defensive line guys are going to be able to get some stats. I'm praying that our defensive line is as versatile as our offensive line, and that they instantly jail whatever teams are out there, that they kind of communicate. I know it's going to take time, but I would say 2, because obviously, we got a solid D line, and then our safeties. So I would say two on defense and 3 on offense.
So you got 5 total. I'm not gonna make it hard on you and tell you to name them, but I
could.
Oh, well,
okay, I could. I'm gonna go Swift. I'm gonna go Swift for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna go O-line. I'm gonna go either Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow.
Ooh.
I think those anchors are gonna be. Those boys are going to be tossing them like they're bales of hay.
Yeah, but that was the easy part. Let's get to the real nuts and bolts.
Oh, defense. I'm going to go Aiden. I'm going to go Aiden, and then I'll go. I'm going to go safety. I'm going to go Tracy Walker.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a tackling machine. If this all gels together right, I think Tracy's going to have half tackles. I think he's just going to be. It's going to be his canvas. So.
All right. I wasn't expecting it, but I can tell you this much: I definitely struggled on the defensive side of the ball. What say you, Miko? Who you get? I mean, how many Pro Bowlers on offense and defense this year?
Okay, so just to be clear, are we saying like these are players? How many players we expect to make the Pro Bowl, or who we think like how many Pro Bowl caliber players are on the offense?
These are players that we are expecting to make the Pro Bowl this year.
Okay. I would say I'm going to be a little bit more bold. I'm going to say 4 on offense.
Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
And 1 on defense. Oh, God. The defense, to me, it's Tracy or nobody, honestly. I think if Aiden has a freakish season, right, I think absolutely. I think he could absolutely get in the mix and make a Pro Bowl. But Tracy kind of seems like the safest bet on the defense. If I had to pick a defensive player, I think he'll have a much better season than he had a good year last year, but I think he'll have more turnovers, because I do expect this defense to get more pressure, whether it's with Aiden, whether it's with Pascal. I just think like they'll be able to do more blitzing the linebackers. I think they'll be able to create more pressure, which will make the job easier on the secondary guys. Okay. So Tracy is my pick on defense. Now for my 4 guys on offense, I don't think it's that crazy. I'm kind of in line with Rumble. I do think Swift will have a Pro Bowl season. I think they're going to give every opportunity for Swift to get more touches, to be an impact player. And when you kind of look at the NFC division, like, yeah, there's a couple guys that are names, but if Swift has a good year, especially if the Lions as a whole have a good year, I do believe DeAndre Swift is going to get more credit than an Alvin Kamara, than a Zeke Elliott, than a Saquon Barkley, than an Aaron Jones. I think DeAndre can very much get in the mix with those guys and get the nod towards a Pro Bowl. We just finished talking about TJ. I think TJ is very capable of getting a Pro Bowl as well. There's not that many top flight tight ends in the NFC. Again, it's Kittle, and then in my opinion, it's Kittle and then Hawk. Like it's literally those 2 in the NFC. The rest of the top tight ends are mostly in the AFC. So TJ getting a Pro Bowl nod in that sense is not that hard either. He just has to stay healthy and continue to do what he's been doing the last few years. And then my other 2 are Penei and Frank. I think honestly, like I kind of held back because I think Jonah could get in there. Jonah's just quietly like goes about his business.
Dude,
but 5 seems a little season. 5 is a little much.
I spent a whole season last year arguing with certain fans about Jonah Jackson. He's garbage. I was like, what the? Are we watching the same player?
It's because Jonah, like it's so. This is the thing about Lions coverage. Our guards get no love. It's Frank and the tackles. Jonah, since he's been here, has done nothing but do his job.
That's it.
Well,
that's it.
Like he's been to a Pro Bowl too. I mean, granted, as an alternate, but he's been. You got to be good enough just to be considered an alternate.
So, yeah, I spent a lot of time arguing that. But my pick, ironically, was said in the chat, which is Amani. I think he picks up where he left off, and people start putting respect on his name. He's my only pick for the defense. Offense,
you can see it.
Offense, I don't even have Frank Ragnar making the Pro Bowl. Ironically, I don't have Penei Sewell or any lineman making the Pro Bowl. Which I can't even believe I'm saying it, but my one Pro Bowl person is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think given the fact that everything on the outside is going to be drawn away from him, it's Hines Ward time.
Interesting.
2.0, all in the middle, to the side, post routes, in routes, drag routes, reverses, back to the running back spot, out the back. It's just too much. They showed you last year a sample size of how they're going to use him, like Deebo Samuels. And, that's my guy. I think we walk away with 2, 1 and 1 on offense and 1 on defense. I don't think this team has enough talent to, I ain't gonna say that word. Let me rephrase this. I don't think that this team talent will exceed the media's view of the Lions' history. So we can have people who ball out, but they're a Lion. And that's a knock against you. The only thing that helps that is you have to win a considerable amount of games, and then you'll be recognized. So that's how I word it. My man, Scotty. I'm not going through the Scotty questions because you said you kind of leaned into it. But
I support it. It's fine. You can.
Okay.
Scotty questions is what it is.
Scotty Q. I like how that sounds because that seems like a Star Trek reference in a little bit. All right. I do love Star Trek and Star Wars, but that's another story. What do you think? I mean, how many Pro Bowls on offense and defense?
I agree with a lot of what everybody's saying here. So on the offense, I think there's 3 on the offense. I'm gonna name them. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, obviously, but I'm gonna go DJ Chark.
Oh, okay.
He just has to get the ball. If Goff can stay healthy and get him the ball, he was a Pro Bowler in 2019. What makes me think that he can't do that again? If he can get the ball where he needs to get the ball, I think that he could really have a good season. And so that's, to me, I think that's my kind of, a little bit out there, but that's what I think there. I also think, so I would add Penei. So 4. And on the defense, Walker. I mean, I don't know. I do Walker, and then Fox. What we didn't talk about Fox, Pro Bowler again. I mean, repeat. No, do we count Punt there?
I mean, do we count Punt?
I'm just answering the question.
I mean, for the longest we've had Jason Hanson. You could just lock him in, but
we've always we've needed him.
I'm just saying.
My rogue is DJ Chark though. In the group, that's what I would say.
That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that, Scotty. You didn't trigger me in no form or fashion. I'm very proud to say that I wasn't triggered, although I have had some moments.
Can I rebuttal with the receivers though? Because you both pick receivers, and I obviously I didn't. My only concern is, do you think those 2 guys, whether it's DJ Chark or Amon-Ra or both, will outpace some of the other receivers that are in the NFC? We're talking about DeAndre Hopkins. We're talking about Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, CeeDee Lamb. Do you think like they can have the type of years to outpace those guys? I don't know if Michael Thomas is coming back, but if Michael Thomas comes back, like I think there's a lot of
That was my caveat was Goff. If Goff can get the ball where it needs to get, like, which Goff can do. He's done it before, but that's the thing. It relies on Goff. And so if Goff does it, I mean, theoretically, Goff could have a Pro Bowl. I mean, if he's getting those guys and those guys get a Pro Bowl, I mean,
it's hard to believe that. Yeah, Goff wouldn't. As well.
I mean, that was my other thing. Is like Goff getting. I couldn't say it out loud,
but you could though. You know why? Because even if you got the Goff who started at the beginning of the year with the 5-yard dink and dunk, and you're getting the ball to the hands of your playmaker, Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's still possible. And when you look at people like DJ Chark, the only thing that you're going to miss with him is you're praying to God that he can take the top off. But let's say he do, right? Let's say he do take this. Now everything underneath has to be open, because if you don't get back, it's big play central. So for me, I can see him outpacing them, because they showed last year that man was playing running back, and they was running routes out the backfield with him. And while people like Deebo Samuels and Lions fans want every receiver that comes available, was out there complaining about his role in that regard, here's Amon-Ra St. Brown going, give me the ball any means necessary. So I think his opportunities will be there, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. Now James asked a good point. He says, what about Cephas? He was doing very good until he got hurt. They don't take that many receivers and still believe in him.
I wish Gian was here. Cephas is Gion's guy. And I'm going to say right now.
I agree with you guys. I think there's nobody on here that on our offense, if they're all healthy, that they're going to be able to double. There's just not. Especially if that O-line is what it is. I 100% believe he's going to get the time. We're going to see. Well, we saw a little bit last year with them lateraling it back, and then it was insane. It was insane given the time.
Plus, I think this is a good point by Ricky Bobby. He had 800 plus yards in 6 to 8 games, and now he's going to start 17. Yeah, I think he can keep pace.
No, and I think he could too. I mean, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think now that Goff has that level of trust in him, Amon-Ra will get featured a lot. I get this weird, sneaky feeling though, like they're going to take their shots. They're like, we saw them kind of do it late down the stretch as well. Yeah. They started taking shots. And I think with Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, that aggressiveness that we see that Dan has, and I can kind of just like, you can kind of sense it in Ben Johnson when he's at the mic, like that dude wants to light up scoreboards.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to give Jared Goff every opportunity to try to do that.
Yeah. And Joseph and Big West, who says, Pro Bowl's a joke. I went with the Pro Bowl because it is a lesser honor, in my opinion, than a All-Pro. So that's why I went with Pro Bowlers. Make no mistake about it. I am not a Pro Bowl fan. When people go, he's a Pro Bowl player, like that's not hard. It's a popularity contest. But I think if there's any opportunity for somebody to have the popularity, it's the guy who do what Hines Ward did and smile at the getting hit at every play, which is basically Amon-Ra St. Brown, in my opinion.
Well, this is what I also say about, because a couple guys have said like, well, the Pro Bowl is a joke and like, who cares? I think it matters a little bit more when your team wasn't very good the year before, because it reestablished that you have quality players, right? Like you just said, it's a popularity contest. So oftentimes the Lions aren't a thought because it's a popularity contest. When people start to take notice of the players that you have, that's a good sign, a good indicator that you probably have some better than average players. Like we've said, Jonah's gotten a Pro Bowl since he's been here. Frank's had a Pro Bowl since he's been here. TJ's had a Pro Bowl since he's been here. And I think we would all agree that those guys are above average at their positions when it comes to you looking at the landscape of the NFL. So no, it's not an indicator of team success, but it's a good indicator that, you probably have you have quality players on your team.
That's fair.
Great point.
That's fair. We getting real close to the trigger ones. I can see it. This gonna upset some people, but it's always good to talk about the good, the positives, the expectations, the exploring the possibilities. But this right here comes down to just blatant facts, and to me, and this question is going to live on until I get an answer to it. And I guess we start this off with you, Miko, because what is your biggest concerns heading into the season right now?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go away from the easy answer. I think the easy answer would be Jared Goff, and I'm going to go away from that.
You're trying to trigger me. I know what this is. No, but go ahead.
My biggest concern, though, is still on that side of the ball, and it's Ben Johnson, actually. I think, again, as much as I was just saying, like Ben Johnson has this level of confidence about him, Dan Campbell has this level of confidence in him. Everybody seems to be very positive about what Ben Johnson could potentially do with this offense. It just can't be stressed enough, though. Like, this is his first time in this role. And to me, that's a little concerning because I just don't know what to expect. I'm hopeful, right? I'm hoping that he's going to be able to take these explosive pieces that they've been able to gather and put something amazing together on the field. But I'm concerned in the fact that he's a novice at this, especially if he gets play calling responsibilities. Then everything becomes a question mark, and every game we are going to find out, like, okay, can Ben Johnson really do this? I know we like to look at the last couple games and be like, well, look, he was involved in that capacity, but again, I'm sure they tweaked the playbook a little bit. I don't know how comfortable Ben Johnson is drawing up plays. Who knows if Ben Johnson is picking the right guys to highlight on given days and given games? There's a lot of question marks. So that to me is something that I'm concerned about, that I don't think enough people are talking about. I think a lot of people are just looking at the shiny toys. I'm guilty of it as well. And just being like, yeah, this is going to be amazing on the offensive end, but I have a little bit of concern there.
Firestarter, first of all, one of my favorite movies with the Drew Barrymore. I haven't watched the new one yet, but we'll see. He says Bob Quin built that offensive line up, but gets no credit. I hate effing Lions fans for that shit. And then he says Lion fans be petty as fuck. I'm just going to use the cuss words so it don't make a difference here. When it comes to Bob Quin, the reality is this, Firestarter, right? Like, even if he gets the credit for it, which I have no problem ever giving him the credit that he's the main reason that line is there. He also brought Big V in to be a right tackle, not a guard. And I said from the get-go that his big ass was a guard, and he didn't do that. So, granted, he can bring the pieces in, but somebody has to put him in the right spot to perform up to par. That's one. Two, if you want to give him credit for that, you also got to look at the bigger part. I give him credit for building up the offensive line. I also give him credit for saying 9-7 isn't good enough, and then bringing in a guy who had 9 wins in 2 seasons. He takes the credit for that. If he would have fired Matt Patricia after the second year, even though we're on a totally different topic and you want to talk about this, I don't think too many Lion fans would have been upset. They would have had more respect for him. But I can then go down a list of other things that he's done where I can say, let's be honest, he's done some good things. Does it outweigh the fact that you brought in your buddy who alienated your star players, which then depleted our talent, made the word in the street? You had a Richard Sherman who came off an injury talking about he didn't want to come here. Like, who in the hell is you to come and take a team that I can't come here? What he did was so egregious that, yeah, he did some good. It doesn't matter. Now, to kind of put it into a different perspective for you, I like to give people references that they can keep up with. If you ever seen the movie New Jack City, Nino Brown used to give away turkeys and food to the crackheads that he put on crack. It's a good deed, but he did more damage than good. And that's the problem that we have with Bob Quin. It's not that we just don't want to give him credit. We just have a hard time overlooking all the things he should get credit for.
And I think, sorry, Luke, to cut you up, but on top of that, again, yeah, we can give him credit for building the offensive line, but last time I checked, the Lions also had other draft picks, and so he's great at scouting offensive linemen. Great. What about everything else?
Yeah, I mean, you go down the list of the players that he missed on. It's not even funny. So,
but it is kind of funny.
I mean, it is now because you can laugh in the aftermath of it. But I'm just saying.
You can laugh through the pain. Yeah.
I mean, you have to. We had no other choice.
But to move it along, I wanted to address that because I try my best to give people Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift were bad. Yeah, Kerryon was a terrible pick. And I'll be the first to tell you that. He was always hurt. And even now he's hurt. He's not even on the team and he's hurt. Like literally a free agent, he's hurt. It was a bad pick. This is one of the reasons why I got concerns a little bit with Jamison Williams. I said this fan base yelled and bolted their voice out at the beginning and said, hey, these things were clear-cut miles away the point. But again, Firestarter, I'm with you. The thing about this is, Firestarter, is you don't even got to come in here and do an off-topic thing. You can literally send me a message on Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, and all you have to do is simply say, hey, I want to be on Takeover Thursdays. And you can take over the show. I give people opportunities to speak their truth. And I don't
He's
stop
starting to
him.
fire. He's starting to fire.
They can be questionable. Should we sponsor
starting to fire.
Thursdays, Nico? Questionable Thursdays?
I mean,
Listen, man, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I get what he's saying too, right? Like, you can pick and choose a couple players, but I believe there's a whole Bob Quinn draft class that's not even here anymore.
Tabor,
right.
And we had some horrible picks. Tease Tabor,
Jelani Tavai.
Jelani Tavai. I mean, holy mackerel.
Didn't he draft a long snapper? Didn't he draft a long snapper?
Listen, forget the long snapper. Julian Okor hasn't lived up to the bill, right? And Okudah, took in third overall, hasn't lived up to the bill. And you can keep going on.
Not yet. Hopefully this year.
The idea that Kerryon was just injured, that didn't make him a bad player. It just slowed him down. Then why he's not on the team? He's been to the Eagles, cut. When they didn't have no other running back, he's there, cut. He went from the Eagles to who was the next thing he went to? You know what? Let me just look it up because I ain't got to try to guess at it. We gonna nip this.
I was gonna say, while you look that up, I mean, again, the Lions cut him when he could have been the third running back here, and they were like, "No, we'll take Godwin Igwe, the dude that switched over from safety
That's what I'm saying, like,
to play running back."
Like,
and again, I want to be very clear. I loved Kerryon when he was here. Kerryon had as a person, great person. Had moments with the Lions, but again, like Luke is saying, he was injured coming into the league, already had an injury history coming into the league, and then just has proceeded to be injured. That's not his fault. That's, again, just the nature of the game.
But it is his fault. He's been hurt since high school through college and now in the pros. And
I mean, it's not his fault in that, like, he's not throwing his knees at people, being like, "Hey."
Well, he didn't throw something at somebody, throw some money or some ass or something, because this ain't working. and in 3 years, 283 rushing attempts, 34 games, 1,225 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That simply is not a good player. And he was a second round pick. It's not good. It just isn't. And I'm not knocking Mr. Irrelevant. But I'm just saying, like, come on, like, we can't. No matter what you want to do, we can't overlook it. So if you really want to go down this road, hit me up. I'll let you come on. Hell, and you can speak your truth. But I'm not saying Bob Quinn was like don't deserve no credit, but he certainly don't deserve this kind of praise. That's all I'm saying. Now let me get back on task. You can't say I didn't give you opportunity to voice your opinion and address your comment in the chat. I did so, and you defended it, even though you were blatantly wrong. And it's a reason why he's fired. It is. It's a reason why he's fired. It's a reason why. Because people watch what happened over here, and it wasn't. Hell, I gave more credit to Martin Mayhew than I would ever give to Bob Quinn, and that's just the truth.
Ooh. Yikes.
Man, back to the question, Scotty. What you have any concerns? Scotty, you have any concerns? You have any concerns for the Lions heading into this season?
Absolutely.
Oh shit! I feel like this finna line up really well. Go shoot.
My biggest thing is Jared Goff. That's my biggest concern. Jared Goff, and how if he can stay healthy, and if he can do what the management leadership need him to do, really, to make everything go. That's, again, I was a big, and I don't care what anybody says, I was a big Malik fan for the Lions in regards to leadership, not necessarily talent, but more so leadership. Jared Goff's going to have to lead this team. I'm not sure he can do it. I'm hoping he can, right? I mean, that's, everybody's got the chips in the Jared Goff corner. So to me, it's put up or shut up for him. So that's my biggest concern, if he can deliver, if he can stay healthy. I think if he starts not delivering, he gets injured, in my opinion. That's what I feel like might happen. And that's my biggest fear and concern.
I mean, I get it. Look, I mean, I get it. I'm not that concerned about Jared Goff because
I saw the Uber driver thing. That's funny.
Listen, hey, I generally put things up, even when people don't think I'm going to. I do. I'm very fair. I don't know why they is, but I'm not judging Jared Goff in my opinion, because for me, last season I had already, waved the white flag on him. So when you wave the white flag on somebody, you simply have said I've given up on him. But the reality is this, we went to the NFC Championship game with Eric Kramer. Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Eli Manning's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Joe Flacco, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Rex Grossman made it to a Super Bowl. And for some people started going down the road, well, they had defenses and blah, 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 blah. And Peyton Manning had Hall of Famers on top of Hall of Famers and got to the Super Bowl once with the Colts. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make here is you don't need this over-the-top, amazing, elite quarterback. You just need somebody that's willing to just do their job. Don't hurt you in big times. I mean, it's essentially what Dak Prescott does and what Tony Romo does. Tony Romo hurted the hell out of you, but Dak Prescott definitely just.
I was going to say, wait.
Yeah. I had to think about Tony Romo, like, let me go back. But Dak Prescott basically just don't hurt
Jessica Simpson, what?
Right?
I'm in Mexico, guys. Don't call me. Hey, don't call me.
But here's my concern. My concern is it's the same concern I've had for the last 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons. When are you going to address the damn linebackers and safeties? We could have. Could you imagine what would have happened if they would have just took Isaiah Simmons? And I remember Lion fans would hit me up like, Luke, Isaiah Simmons sucked, and I'm like, he took 34% of the snaps his rookie year. His general manager went off on the head coach because he's not utilizing him. And then they make him a full-time starter, and he's one, if not maybe the only linebacker or person I've ever seen hit Derrick Henry head up and stop him dead in his tracks. So miss me with the bull, okay? All I'm saying is this. We have yet to really fully realize our linebacking room and our safety room. And that's why they're trying to hype it up through the media by saying it's going to be a bloodbath. You're right, because they're going to basically kill themselves trying to look good. And so I'm good on that. I'm just good on this. It's a concern that scares me. You can have the world's greatest D-line. It doesn't matter if you don't have linebackers that can fill gaps. I feel good with Jared Davis. I feel good with Barnes. And Alex Anzalone is well below average. But that's not enough. And so that's an issue for me.
Luke, you're making my point, because that's a concern for sure. But if we can't get anything on the offense, then it doesn't matter.
I've seen offenses put up points before and not have a stellar defense, and those teams still don't do shit. Like
correct.
But yeah, I was gonna say like,
if we can't do anything on either side of the ball, what I'm saying is that a linchpin on the offense is Goff. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair. Would you say, Miko?
I was gonna say, like, the biggest issue, like, I expect the offense to be more consistent this year. I don't even want to know if I want to say better, but I at least expect them to be more consistent. That defense does have to show up, right? Like, those linebackers do have to. I'm very interested to figure out who the starting linebackers are, because it is a who's who in that room. I think Julian kind of feels like he has like a secured spot in there. I think Derek Barnes has a secured spot. Everybody else is literally fighting for playing time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, facts. And it's just a reality that you have to be open to. And I hate to be the one, but it's been 4 seasons and I'm still trying to figure out when we're going to do something in that area. My man's Rumble. What concerns do you have going into this season that you feel like the Lions still have?
Confidence. I just want these guys to realize that the player next to them is their brother. I want them to fully buy into what the whole culture has been ever since last season, and I want them to continue that trend. Just confidence. Just know that somebody's got your back, whoever that might be. Could be Tracy, could be Panay, could be whoever. Just believe in each other, because believe it or not, this is a much more favorable schedule than we had last year. So I believe now is the time that we start making noise. And like I said, we're going to be under the national spotlight, albeit for the preseason with Hard Knocks. And what better time to really show what this team is all about and what this culture is all about. So confidence.
Now, again, if you didn't know, we are on with the Questionable Podcast. The gentleman over there is a 3-headed killer. One of them is on his way here. I think he might have made a few stops along the way to take out a few poor souls. But either way it go, I absolutely love what they do over there. And if y'all know me, I only support people I believe in. And if I believe in them, I support them. If you decide to go the other route and you want to be disrespectful, I'd be like, okay, well, that's a difference. But this group of gentlemen, they do things very similar to what I do. They end their show on a positive note. You're going to see it tonight, I guarantee you, where they thank people that I probably should thank because I can't do this if she didn't let me. And she's probably sitting there looking like, you see that there? That's what it meant. Yeah. Y'all kind of got me cussed up the last show. I was like, damn it. I said it, though, sweetheart. She's like, no, you was prompted. I was like, I really wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was like, you was prompted. That. Yeah.
Hey, okay. But moving forward, though.
Yeah, see? We set an example. We set an example, and now you know. Now you can do better.
Well, see, her thing is this. Her thing is because if I'm not on here talking football, and she's not a football fan at all, she's a basketball fan. I'm just in her ear like, so listen, this guy just got signed, and she's looking at me like, I don't care. Okay, you're gonna hear it anyway. We together. This is what happens. I gotta hear your shitty stories. You hear mine. All right, so
the life of a married man. It's the life of a married man.
All right, so I mean, obviously we got that, but this one right here is one of the ones that keep coming up, and I'm so over it at this point, but I got to talk about it. And Scotty, we started off with you. Are you concerned about who's calling plays this upcoming season?
So we kind of touched on this already. Or Rumble did, I think, right? Or was it Miko? I don't know. Somebody did. Was it Miko?
I did a little. I did a little bit.
Yes, I am. Dan was just in front of the media. What was it? 2 days ago, where he said, was it?
I think it was like 2 days ago. Or maybe it was yesterday.
Maybe
yesterday. Yeah.
Calling it now. Goff is going to light up the NFL. He's just giving things. Okay. Thanks, Ricky Bobby. Dude, I'm not used to this. He might go off, but that's what I'm hoping. Like to me, you guys are going to distract me. This is a problem for me. I'm all over. Again, back to the Goff thing. I really, a lot of it is on his shoulders. We'll see. Right? We'll see. I'm hoping for the best, but prepare.
But the play calling. Do you feel concerned with the play calling though?
Play calling. Yes, I am concerned. Now, what Dan Campbell said, I think yesterday, was that he's going to let Ben do it and make sure that in the way only Dan Campbell can say it is like, I'm going to make sure he's doing it the way in which I like it. It's kind of what he was saying. And if not, I'm going to take it over again. So I don't love that flippy flop. But to Miko's point, that if he is aggressive and it works, I think that's awesome. I worry about the lack of experience. So yeah, I'm concerned about it. I'm more concerned on Jared Goff delivering, right? I'm more concerned there than on the play calls, because at the end of the day, right, Jared Goff can adjust the plays. He can change the plays. So, I mean, if he knows what's going on and he knows the offense, then he can make Ben look better than what Ben's doing or calling, kind of. So I think that there's a little bit of a caveat there, but I am concerned. Am I overly concerned? No, we went through it last year, and last year, the second half of the season got better. So I'm concerned, but not a siren. Not yet.
Rumble, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, are you concerned about who's calling the plays and the play calling this upcoming season?
I'm going to go no, because I feel like they don't have anything to lose at this point. We had a, can I call him solid? I think I can. We had because he was a head coach. We had Anthony Lynn calling plays last year. So how much worse can Ben Johnson do, being that he has been shadowing Dan since Miami, and he kind of was. Maybe he was making plays last year, but I felt like that offense was running much more smoother and much more confident. So I don't have any problems with him calling plays. But at the same time, I do want him to be the reason that this team is succeeding. I want them to feed off of his energy. And I think that's what you're getting right now with all these coordinators and all the moving pieces. So I'm not going to be too, he can't do any worse than Lynn did. I'm just gonna leave it at that. He can't do any worse.
Don't jinx us, though. Knocking on wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm knocking on wood too, man. But
listen, I stand by this. Lynn was not the problem. It was too many heads, or no, sorry, how they say it? It's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I think it was too many. I think it was too many cooks trying to cook up on the.
Because when Dan took over, we won games.
But that wasn't. But there's a lot of things that changed between that time, though, and it wasn't just play calling.
Yeah, no, I'm on Ross St. Brown started.
I'm just saying, personnel changes came in again.
Yeah,
I'm just
give me that.
Miko was over there with the smoothest face when everybody was talking. He's like, I gotta get this one down. Okay, Miko, the floor is yours, sir. Do you have any concerns about who's calling the plays or the play calling as an entirety for the season?
So, like I already said, like one of my biggest concerns is Ben Johnson calling plays. On the flip side of that, though, if Dan Campbell is the one calling plays, like actually in games picking the plays that they're going to run, I feel so much more confident, and I don't know why. Like Dan's only been doing it for a season, but something about the way in which he orchestrated the game just worked. It just flowed. It felt so natural. And so if Ben Johnson's calling plays, I'm not going to lie, I'll be nervous for the first couple games. I'll be watching that first game so intently to get a feel for how he's going about his play calling. But if they come out first game of the season against the Eagles and Dan's like, no, I'm calling plays. Oh, I'm going to be kicked back relaxing. Like I'm going to expect something fun because Dan Campbell calling plays last year just felt like I never knew what the Lions were doing. I never knew what to expect. I didn't know if we were going for it on fourth down, if we weren't going for it on fourth down. I didn't know what kind of the thing. It was just like this level of unpredictability. And so in one sense, yes, I'm a little concerned just because I'm concerned that Ben's going to get full play calling responsibilities. But if it goes the other way, I'm going to be chilling.
Okay, listen, I think it's fair. I think that's fair. My view is I don't give a shit who's calling the plays. I just don't. I don't. You know why? Because here's what I do know. The philosophy in which they pick is exactly what it should have always been. History has always been one of my greatest teachers. And anytime we ever had any success, we were a run-first team. And I think when you look at Dan Campbell, who played for this team that went 0-16, he saw where, hey, we were a run-first team. A lot of this stuff don't happen. So for me, I'm of the belief that, hey, I'm good with whoever's calling plays. If it's Dan, great. If it's Ben, don't matter because Dan will take it back over from him if he fucking up anyway. It's very clear to me that they on the same page. So I'm happy either way it go. In my opinion, it's like I can't lose. It's like you got the winning lottery ticket, and then on top of having the winning lottery ticket, you got like an uncle who you really know that you don't really know, but he somehow left you a bunch of money. You still win. And that's how I look at it. The play calling don't concern me as long as they're a run first team. Now, if they come out trying to play this, we going to pass a lot. I'm concerned for everybody, not only just for the offense, but the defense, because that means we're probably going to have the defense on the field more than it needs to be. And with this team right now, I don't know if there's something you really want to go through. But that's just my point. Now, let me go through and point this out for you, Miko, because they showing you some love in the building.
Appreciate it.
Let me see. Goff throws the ball with purpose and practice, but practice is at 70%. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. I agree, Miko, right? Let me see. Keep going down here. Miko's pretty wise. I don't know what they got. I mean, the wise. It might be the beard.
It's the beard.
It's the beard. Yeah,
it's the beard. Just makes me look a little wiser than I really am.
My biggest concern is the lack of likes on this video. Come on now, can we shout out to that dude live? He said, "Can we do better than this? Hit that like button if you want Luke to change the avatar to a high catch-up." Oh, okay. So
there's a caveat.
Okay,
do you not like ketchup? Is that a thing?
Let me tell you. So no, I don't like ketchup, and I'll explain to you why. There may
you better be allergic.
There may or may not have been a rental car that was rented in Arizona where a bottle of ketchup was left in the trunk on accident that may or may not have exploded and completely covered the car trunk. and ketchup, leaving it looking like a complete crime scene that was returned without being checked for liability purpose. That may or may not happen, but I don't know because I hate ketchup, and I think that ketchup is one of the worst condiments you can get out there. I just, so I'm team mustard over here. Give me some relish, some diced onions, anything, mayonnaise, some aioli. But yeah, we don't do ketchup because I'm pretty sure that there's a statute of limitation. And if that statute of limitation has not passed, I may or may not cannot deny or confirm if those things happen. But I've been told that if you were to ever leave a ketchup bottle in the trunk of a vehicle in Arizona, it's not a good idea. So that's basically what happened with the ketchup thing.
I feel like you gotta like ketchup though. Like ketchup is like the basic chick of condiments. Like it's like that's the bare minimum of like if you at least have to like ketchup at least with fries. Like you ain't gotta like it on everything else.
I mean, I prefer ranch for my fries because
See, I called it.
The hell,
it's so delicious.
Called it,
man.
Delicious.
Listen here, I don't. You can, all right. You
First-
on your
first of all, First of all, ranch was created by African American, and it's freaking delicious. It's amazing. It goes on everything. Chicken, right? It goes on
buffalo wings, but
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it goes on burgers. It
the
goes
hell it does.
You never made a ranch burger? You never got the little Hidden Valley ranch packet? You got
no, because I love my body. Like what's that?
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh.
Fair enough.
What?
I mean, damn it.
You out here putting ranch and mustard together?
I'm just saying.
You a savage if you out here putting ranch and mustard together on a burger.
Ross loves his body too, but that doesn't make him wrong. Lizzo loves her body. We're not going to
a little too much. A little too much. All right. You got to manage the love. We all there's a point where you exceed love. You exceed something, and it goes over into an area where you're just not supposed to be. That's too much love.
So our next topic is
yeah.
But again, that's the story.
How much do you love ranch? Cheers. Can we get a vote?
Oh man,
ranch versus ketchup. Go.
This is listen. It happens. It happens. Let's keep it going. I don't want to, because just to get indicted hotline, I see right now y'all trying to set people up. But this right here is a question that I think I've asked every person who comes on here with me. I think it's something that it goes to show expectations, in my opinion, but it's a simple one. And starting off with you, Miko. I'm starting off with you, Rumble, on this one. I'm starting you off, Rumble. You lead this one.
Okay.
Should Lions fans expect a good season out of the Lions this year?
Yes, and the reason why we've talked about this before. I think the staff we have in now, starting with Sheila, who I thought just turned over a new leaf for me when she put a letter to the fans in the Detroit media, Detroit Free Press, apologizing and saying, "Hey, you guys deserve better." I've never seen an owner go that far as to, admit their failures and admit that, hey, you know what, we got to do better. You guys deserve a better product. You guys deserve to. So I think that step alone, we should be holding them accountable based off what she put in that letter to the fans. So I think we should expect them to do good. And this coaching regime, I mean, the sky's the limit in my eyes. I think we have, 3 or 4 coaches on this team that are coordinators. So I think the sky is the limit as far as where they can take this team. So yes.
Shout out to that dude live who says, I got ranch and ketchup in the Super Bowl. Yes, sir. And shout out to my man D. Williams who says, I think Luke actually is in witness protection because High 57 boys is looking for him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they're looking for me. I know nothing of this ketchup incident. It was more of a tall tale story that I may have or may not have heard. But certainly I wouldn't need to be in witness protection. At least I hope not. Because I'm pretty sure that they had to really go back and realize that that car was probably already damaged before that person who told me that story took the car. That's all I'm saying.
I want to know how they found out whether or not it was ketchup. Did like somebody taste
I was-
it?
I mean,
Or,
listen,
The bottle
Right.
must have been still there. The bottle must have still been there.
that's the only
Listen.
way.
from what I heard, from
Oh.
what I heard,
Next time when I see that, I'll just throw a ranch bottle or a ketchup bottle. I'll be like, it's just ketchup. And nobody else was in the back of the
I
truck.
mean, from what I was told, yeah, that bottle damn near incinerated inside that trunk. It was hot as hell. It melted really bad.
Wow.
Like the top survived, but everything else was pretty much not fair. So I
That's
think if they,
hilarious.
and plus I heard the person who told me this, the lady who told me this, because she was a sweet lady, a sweet old generous lady who didn't have a lot in retirement. That lady, she told me
It's oddly specific. Like
That was
For-
like, it's my aunt.
yeah,
right.
she told me,
One
she
kid
told
taking
me
care.
You know them?
yeah, but she told me she tried to clean it up. It just made it worse. So
It
I'm
went over
just-
portfolios and
Ah,
the ketchup.
shit. I'm
Oh,
just
man.
saying. Miko, should Lions fans expect to have a good season this season?
Yeah, they should. And again, good is relative, I believe, to what they did last year, right? As well. When Luke was on our show, we talked about like how many wins did we think the Lions would get? Again, looking at the schedule without expecting injuries and things like that. I expect a minimum of 7. And I think, again, if you go out there and you win 7 games after only winning 3 the year before, that's at least improvement. I don't need you to go to the Super Bowl this year. I don't need you to go to the playoffs. But based off your schedule, I do see 10 wins. Just looking at the schedule blanketly and just being like, oh, I can see them win this game. I can see them win this game. So I do think there should be an expectation for them to have a good season, even if that season is simply just improvement. You got to show improvement, which is something that, again, we've talked about Matt Patricia a couple of times. That was something he was never able to showcase, was consistent improvement. I believe if that man had at least been improving year to year, he probably still would have been here. But because they kept regressing, he got the boot. So Dan Campbell and company need to just improve. What that improvement looks like is anybody's guess, but it needs to be a considerable amount more than 3 wins.
Okay. What say you, Scotty Q? Beam me up, Scotty. Let's get it.
My gosh, you Star Trek, man. You Trekkie?
Dude, I love Star Trek, but I also love Star Wars. So I get hit for liking both. And I'm like, that's just not fair. They both are great shows.
That's not fair. I'm with you. You can like both. So I'm with Miko, but I'm gonna say double, right? So 3, I'm gonna double. I'm saying 6 to 10, right? I think minimum is 6, like double what we did last year. You have double the assets, double the talent, like at least double, get me 6, right? And on the high end, like 10, 11. I mean, like last year, we were in so many games. We were very close in a lot of games last year with 3. I mean, it's the NFL. You can flip a coin on a lot of plays. Now, hopefully we get some luck this year. And so that 6 could turn into 8 to 10. I mean, it really could. So I think they got to give me 6. And, I'm hoping for more, right? 8 to 10 would be amazing. And then we can figure out what the future looks like, but this is the year they're going to figure it out, right? Regardless of what we say, project, I think this is the year they're going to see what they have, whether it's 6 wins, 7, 8, 9, 10, then we're going to have to revisit what the future looks like, because they have 3 years left on the contract then. So now they got to make moves. So this is a really big year, and they're going to let the players play. And so
now I've been on record for saying this. My minimum is 8 games.
I know that.
Anything less
everybody
than 8.
knows that, Luke.
That's right. You got to get fired. I'm sorry. If you super low, like another 3-win season, yeah, I'm not for it. We made too many strides for this, in my opinion. I'm just disgusted. But the reality is it's not the record prediction. It's saying, should you expect a good season? And I think that is a relative question where you can say, what is a good season? For me, they should expect a good season. And it should be one that you can be proud of and say, hey, we're closer than I thought we were. And for me, that is winning between 10 to 12 games, in my opinion. You get that 10 to 12 game range, yeah, I'm expecting you to show up and show out, because I think there's enough there for you to get it done. And there's enough opportunities with cap space for you to make some more moves to fix some of the problems that I have. So
That's the key. That's the key component you just brought up. They balance the books, right? So I think with what you just said right there, I think that's a win in itself, in my opinion. We're not paying Jesse James. We're not paying Flowers. Right. We're not paying these gorge of a cap. These guys were gorging off of us. So I'm with you right there, Luke.
Yeah, I mean it just is what it is. Now we're going to get to this next question. I want y'all to understand something. This is a trigger alert. I'm giving it. Scotty, can I get a siren? Thank you, sir. This is a trigger alert. That's your warning, okay? You have been warned. If you don't want to be triggered, this is your chance to step out and swiftly go over and subscribe to the Questionable Podcast. Y'all love that segue. So, so definitely go over there and show some love, people. If you have not hit the like button on this video, do so. But go over there and check out these videos. The last one was very interesting. I can't give you the content on what they was talking about, but I can tell you this much. That one of the videos they have even has a title that says "Missionary is underrated." That lets you know that they're having fun. Okay. So you definitely want to check out what's going on over there on the Questionable Podcast.
Go, Miko, go.
Hey, listen here, man. I will fight for that position hands down.
I'm with Miko. He's leading the way, leading the charge, but I'm with him.
You say the forgotten position is the original position.
It's the premium pumps position. All right. If you haven't mastered missionary, you ain't doing nothing out here.
Hey.
I totally understand it. I'm not even judging you on this. I just you're right. You don't hear that. We're gonna leave that alone. This is a football show. We're gonna leave that one alone. He said if you ain't mastered the missionary, you ain't did nothing.
You haven't done nothing, sir. You can't skip steps.
What? Dr. Oz, can we get a dialogue?
You can't skip steps.
Dr. Oz didn't pick up.
Join me on the Questionable Podcast for Miko After Dark if y'all want more of these.
Oh no! The bonus episodes, I guess he's gonna put together.
Hey, 100% says Miko is cultured. 100, yes. Yeah.
I've been around the block a couple times.
Hey, now again, I gave you your warning for triggering, and I need your help on this, chat. Now I've already polled you before. I'm giving you the parameters. I polled the people and I asked them how many games do they expect Jameson Williams to play. And I took all the numbers that every person posts, added them all up and averaged it out, and it came to a total of 11 games. 11 games. That's a combined number from Twitter, Discord, and the community page here. 11 games.
That's a lot of wins.
That is over 500 votes, okay? I want y'all to understand what happened. So now you know you got 11 games. This question comes to the chat, and I'm going to start this off with you, Scotty, but to the chat, I want y'all to listen carefully. I want you to post, what do you think in 11 games, or how many yards and touchdowns should Jameson Williams have in 11 games? Start posting, people. Scotty, what are your thoughts on this? How many yards and touchdowns should Jameson Williams have in 11 games?
In 11 games. So are these the 11 wins that we're talking about?
Listen, the number averaged out to 11 games that the people thought that he would play somewhere between 11 and 14 games is what it averaged. But the number that stuck out was 11 games. Okay.
Wow.
So that's why I'm asking the people. So how many yards and touchdowns should he have in 11 games?
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Okay. It's a triggering question.
You got Scotty stuck.
Yeah.
I should have warned you ahead of time, Luke. No. Scotty don't do well in these types of high pressure situations.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm just thinking it through because I'm an avid optimist, right? So my gut is 1,000 yards. But I mean, I don't think there's enough. I mean, I think I'm going to go 900 yards. I'm going to go under 1,000, 900 yards in 11 games. And I think 5 touchdowns.
Okay, that's
It's
fair.
fair. I think that's fair. I want to go more. Like touchdowns, not yards. I think 9 is high. I think, but I'm gonna. I mean, if he's the deep, I mean, if he can catch the ball and run like he can do, I mean, 800-900 yards. Yeah, five touchdowns.
Okay,
but I'm an avid optimist, though, so I hope for the best, and that's if he doesn't get hurt again. So
don't even get me started. We already don't talk about carry on. Don't
I
bring
know.
up. Okay,
I'm just trying to poke. I'm trying to poke the bear here.
Okay,
My job. Got any questions?
All right,
Poke the bear.
Miko, what do you say? In 11 games, if he plays 11 games, how many yards and touchdowns?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 800 yards, and I'm gonna say 4 touchdowns.
Okay. Rumble, how many yards and touchdowns Jameson Williams played 11 games?
11 games. I'm going to say these guys are right around my area. So I'll go a little lower. I'll say 600. And there's just, I'll say 600 and I'll say four tutties. I think there's some games where he just breaks out.
So
I think he has a couple games where he's got a couple deep ball touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, right, like 80-yard touchdown pass.
Play action.
2 of those, 3 of those play action run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I I think he could have something very similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown in that, like, I think it's just going to take a minute, right? It's going to take a minute for him and JG to kind of get on the same page, where you probably won't see a lot those first couple games. And because I do think, to Scotty's point, I think a lot of his touchdowns are going to come from like just long touchdown passes. But I think once they get on track, like if that speed is still there, man, it's going to be explosive.
Well, yeah, to your point, like also we have to remember DJ Chark's there too. So that's where I'm thinking that Jameson might get, I mean, is the number 1 going to line up against DJ Chark? I'm assuming, right?
Probably at least until Jameson proves himself, right? And this is another thing, like, because I really did struggle with this. I want to say that Jameson could probably get more. I just think they're going to try to use him in a very specific role, which is mostly going deep. But
it'd be a decoy for sure.
Yeah, but if you look at his release off the line, the kid's got those feet are nasty.
Dude, he's fat. He's quick, man.
Nasty. I mean, his stutter and go, because he barely shifts down when he stutter and goes. And so I can just see him get 800 rather quickly in the same way that Amon-Ra did, where it was just like a couple good 100-yard games in a row.
Right.
And it was just like, and there you have it. He's at 900 just like that. So I think that's a safe bet for JMO.
Hopefully he's working with Amon-Ra and on the
ball
machine.
The jug machine.
Catching balls.
But not too
routes. Great.
But not too much, Rumble, because DJ Chark, remember, Urban Meyer.
All three of them need to be there.
No, but Urban Meyer broke DJ Chark's hand. Remember, he was catching. They made him catch too much.
He shouldn't have soft hands. He shouldn't. He tell him he need real. He need man hands. Need a strong hand.
Okay, wait. I have a.
Well, maybe Urban Meyer had the jugs machine on too high of a speed. We're gonna put up everything we want.
I wonder where he went. He went got the ketchup. Hey. So hold on. I want to flip it real quick on a question that we had last year. That was early. Miko, remember last season? Who's going to have the most reception yards of the Lions?
Now, before we go there, I want to give my response on what his expectation is, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Sorry, Luke.
You're good. No, you're good. I love the question, but I'm going to tell you why. My expectations are very low, and I think he's going to have between 300 some yards because I don't think he's going to play a lot of games. But here's my thing. I want y'all to take a look at something. Okay, this right here is literally the rookie season of Calvin Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dr. Detroit says 750 and 4 touchdowns. So essentially, he's going to have the same season as Calvin Johnson, but be less of a season than Amon-Ra St. Brown, who played and started in 8 games. Okay, fine. And then Ricky Bobby, who has high expectations, says that he's going to be better than Calvin Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Love Ricky Bobby.
Basically destroyed it. Then Dark Twerk says 705 TDs, which puts him below Calvin Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Dr. Detroit says 606, which puts him again below Calvin Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, why am I doing this?
That's Detroit D, not Dr. Detroit. Just sorry.
Yeah,
that's why Detroit D. I'm sorry.
Dr. Detroit might get mad.
Now, Joseph Murdoch says 685 yards and 6 touchdowns. Again, well below what Calvin Johnson and Amon-Ra St. Brown did. And I've been adding y'all numbers up as I went and just trying to see where y'all at. But as you can see, many people have the numbers being at or around where certain players are at. Now, this is the thing I want y'all to understand. This is where I come to my conclusion. Why are expectations higher for Malcolm Rodriguez than it is for Jameson Williams and for Aiden Hutchinson? Why are expectations higher for Jameson Williams, who's coming off of an injury, than it is for Aiden Hutchinson? And why are we not understanding that these things are happening? Now, I've talked to a number of fans before who said that, it's the learning curve. Well, here's the problem. The guy throwing the ball to Calvin Johnson that year, I believe, was Jon Kapler. Okay. And the guy throwing the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who pointed out by Dr. Detroit, was that was all that he had. Fair enough. However, I still want you to understand something, that the expectations in which we are placing on these players are ridiculous, and they're not lining up with the reality. We have higher expectations for Malcolm Rodriguez than we do a guy took in 12th overall. We have a higher expectation for the guy took in 12th overall than the guy took in 2nd. There's something wrong with this picture, and that's why I did it. I want y'all to understand what the reality is in this regard. And these are numbers y'all came up with. I played with the parameters y'all set up. And I did that on purpose. I wanted y'all to see. My standard is he needs to be better in 11 games than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because of things that y'all already discussed with the route running, the explosiveness, the ability to show the speed, I'm expecting that to show if he plays 11 games. And if he don't, I don't even want to show y'all what the numbers look like for people like Devontae Smith and other receivers who had a similar 10 to 11 game range, where I'm not far off from saying it should be better than what I see here. Feel free to rebuttal.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a lot more targets for Goff this year. So that's why I think his numbers are going to be a bit skewed. But we both Scotty and Miko both hit it. He's going to be used as a decoy because we know how fast he is, and we know wherever he lines up, they're going to be paying attention to him. They're going to be like, don't get beat over the top. So
not until you catch a deep ball.
Rumble,
he has to catch a bunch of deep balls.
Yeah, to Rumble's point, yes, and Luke, yes, he's got to prove it though, right? He's got to score a touchdown or two, so he's going to get. I mean, right there, that could be like 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's almost 200 yards right there. For him to prove it, then they have to cover him. I mean, so he's going to have to get a couple hundred yards, and then they have to cover. I mean, at that point, then I'm spitballing here, right? Okay, he's at 180, 200. I mean, then what? I mean, they're going to have to cover him, but then DJ Chark's open. So they got to, to your point, I mean, there's more options, but they should be open. So if Goff can hit the open guy, back to what I'm saying. If Goff can hit the open guy, oh my gosh, like that's my concern.
Well, and I think the biggest reason why, again, our expectations may be a little lower than what Amon-Ra did is because of chemistry. I think, we literally saw it. Amon-Ra was like he had a couple plays here and there in the first half of the season, but it wasn't until, like Dr. Detroit said, it wasn't until he was the only option, and it wasn't until they finally started calling plays for him. And that's going to be the thing that really is going to really determine Jameson's number specifically. Is Jameson the number one option or the number two option, or is Goff getting through his progressions to even get to Jameson? If Jameson is like what Rumble's talking about and he's just a decoy, well, that's not Jameson's fault. He could be winning the route, but the play is called for it to go short to TJ or to go to Chark or to go to Reynolds, and they're just using JMO to clear space. It's really going to be incumbent upon Ben Johnson. If you traded up to get this guy, I'm going to assume that you expect him to do more than just be a decoy.
Thank you.
So, but it's still so reliant on Goff and Johnson and Campbell to be like, JMO's the focus. They're going to have to do a lot of what Cincinnati did with Jamar Chase, where they were like, we drafted you this high because we thought you were the best receiver. Now go out and prove it. You got to give JMO every opportunity once he's healthy. And then we're just going to see what that looks like, though, because unfortunately, JMO's coming into a crowded offense. There's a lot of guys who can make plays with the ball in their hand. And who knows where he falls in on the pecking order right now.
And I think I would have to disagree with you a little bit respectfully, because one of the things you pointed out when you said that Amon-Ra St. Brown early on, the chemistry factor wasn't there, but it wasn't that. It was that he was open and the ball wasn't getting there, as Scotty pointed out. He just wasn't. The quarterback couldn't hit him. And then the other part of it was they were not designing plays to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown until somebody went back and looked and said, hey, the guy is open. So, to me, the expectations should be high in my opinion.
Well, the reason I would say that there weren't chemistry, like if you see those plays when Amon-Ra's open, who does Jared Goff trying to go to? He's trying to go to TJ. Like he tried to force so many passes to TJ. He forced passes to TJ. He forced passes to Khalif Raymond. And Amon-Ra is open in the flat, or he's open on a drag route, and he's going to the guy that he expects to make that play. I think it was against Green Bay, that fourth down play, and we were all like, for some reason he went to Amon-Ra, but TJ was wide open, and then I think like a couple weeks later, it was the exact same play. And he went the opposite way. Yeah. Like he didn't trust his reads, or he wasn't trusting the chemistry, one or the other. But like it took a while for Amon-Ra to finally get to the point where Jared expected him and trusted him to perform down in and down out. I don't think that's just.
I just looked at I went to that game against the 49ers, and I'm talking about Amon-Ra was open a lot. I was on the sideline where the players can hear me, and I'm like, "Will you throw the ball to the Brown?" I was that fan because I was getting so irritated. And again, not mad. It's just that to me, my point I'm trying to make is the expectation should be high for the 12th round pick, as they should be for the second overall pick, and that they should be for our second round pick in Pascal. It's just ironic that they're more higher for Malcolm Rodriguez than people we took to come in and take a starting spot. It's blowing my mind.
Hey, man, call those people out. I want to talk to those people.
Yeah. We need to have an intervention right now.
We need to have a little bit of a powwow, just a little bit. And it ain't to embarrass you. It's just we gotta chill out a little bit. But I mean, you specifically asked an 11-game span. Like, Luke, I don't know if you remember when you were on our show, I expect JMO to start week 1. I think he will be ready by week 1. And if we're talking week 1, if we're talking week 1, I'll say right now, I expect him to put up Jamar Chase numbers. I think JMO is that explosive. I think he is that. And again, somebody knocked me in our comments because I said that JMO wasn't on my radar for the Lions. Specifically because I never thought they would trade up to 32 to 12.
Yeah,
I never looked at JMO because I didn't think he was going to fall that far. I trusted every scout and every evaluator that said that he was the best wide receiver in the class. And so if he's there from week 1, I expect him to do what the best wide receiver in a draft class does: put up 1,000 yards. Put up 7-8 touchdowns. That's what I expect you to do.
That's three or four catches, like Scotty was saying, man. If he burns his guy and does the Randy Moss, just puts his hands up, that's freaking 60 yards. So
that speed is nasty. And it's the other thing too. He has this ridiculous speed and the size. right? Like he's not just speedy little guy, which like a lot of teams were drafting speedy little guy and hoping that like, oh, this little guy can beat press coverage. No. JMO also has the size to beat press coverage and still get deep. And if you don't have a safety over the top, and if that O-line is as consistent as we've seen them be at times, Jared Goff was hitting Josh Reynolds, Brock Wright, and TJ Hockenson for chunk plays. You don't tell me you can't tell me that he wouldn't hit JMO if JMO is beating safeties deep.
Yeah, we gonna find out.
But I will say this: shout out to TTG who says Luke had floor seats. I was the front row seat right behind the bench.
True Detroit player. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what happened was this: my friend and I, we always buy certain tickets or whatever, and I thought we were going to win the opening day. I predicted us to win the opening day, and they came out and decided to pass the ball. And I was like, what the hell? You've been talking about running the ball the whole time, and now you come out passing the, and then every pass, I'm like, it's no way you're going to convince me that Anthony Lynn told Jared Goff, hey, that 5 yards right there, just throw it right there. I know he's open. Fuck that guy that's 20 yards down the field. 5 yards where it's at. I doubt that happened. So, yeah. I did throw in one wild card question that I did not send you, Miko and Scotty. And it's a reason I didn't send it, because I always throw in one wild card question because I think it gets you that on the fly move. But it's a very good one, and it's a very simple one. Should the expectations be high for the Lions offensive line? Because according to Pro Football Focus, somebody I don't respect and don't know, they ranked them as the third best offensive line. And I seen Lions fans going apeshit over that ranking, saying that that's not good enough, right? So my question is, should expectations be this high for the offensive line? Good grief, what is that? The devil is is not welcome here.
Get him, man.
Good grief. But Luke is faster than Jameson Williams when them catch. I don't know nothing about them catch-up boys. I hit it like the alphabet boys. I don't know.
Funny. Well done, D. Williams.
Scotty, started with you, sir. Should the expectations be this high for this offensive line?
Yes, it should. 100%.
Oh, okay. Let's get it.
Yeah, it should be. That was a focus for Holmes. And they can't. I mean, it was a focus to get that right. So yeah, it should be that high. Are they going to be that good? Maybe not, but they should be close. It like open and shut, in my opinion.
Okay, I want to answer this question really quick from Looney Tunes, who says,
yes, it is a bit high, Dr. Detroit, but I think they should try and be there. But
no, listen, I get it. Luke, if he was healthy, fully healthy, how many yards and touchdowns do you see Jameson Williams getting? He needs to be above or in the Rams of like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, in my opinion. So that should be easy. Even when you do like 600 yards, that's like what, 60 something yards a game or 50 something yards a game. So
yeah,
in 11 games. So it's like if he got a full 17 games, yeah, my expectations go up even higher. We traded up 20 spots, lost draft capital, and everybody act like it was no big thing to take a guy who had an ACL injury. Well, all right, damn it, too much is given, much is expected, and so I'm expecting to see that. Miko, should the Lions offensive line expectations be this high? I mean, Pro Football Focus said they are the third best offensive line in the NFL. Do you think it should be higher or higher?
I'll say this: I didn't even need Pro Football Focus to say that. Jonah Jackson said it. And Jonah Jackson is like the cockiest dude on that offensive line. Panay has the most swagger, but Jonah Jackson has literally come out in back-to-back years and said that he believes they're one of the best offensive line, the best offensive line in the NFL. And so, yes, I expect them to show it when healthy. And just think about this. That O-line at times had different guys out, and Ebron was able to come in for Frank Ragnow, and we never heard Evan Brown's name get called. We never heard, we never saw replays where Evan Brown is getting dump trucked in the backfield. Like, these guys, it's the O-line, and nobody ever talks about an O-line unless you're in playoff contention. But this team went 3-13, 3-13-1, and it wasn't the fault of the offensive line. Those guys did their jobs. They held up very, very well game in and game out. So yeah, I expect them to play to that level. Now, does that lead to success? again, to Scotty's point earlier, that's incumbent upon your quarterback making the right decisions, making the right plays, the right running backs getting into the backfield so that they're getting the touches. Like, this O-line can only do so much as far as protecting your quarterback and producing a solid run game. The rest is upon those guys to execute.
Fair enough. That's fair. Rumble, should the expectation be this high for the Detroit Lions offensive line? What say you, sir?
Yeah, and I think they've put that pressure on themselves as well. These boys ain't playing around, man. They're so happy with the success that each other's having in Panay. They're happy. I think Taylor Decker was like giving them props. So there's no egos on this O-line, and they all want to be good. And yeah, man, let's give some love to the boys in the trenches, man. Those boys don't get enough credit. Miko brought up very valid points along with Scotty. There was guys that we plugged and played last year who I've never heard of before, who I was like, oh, okay. And then Panay, being his rookie year, being asked to go to switch to a completely different position than what he was drafted for, just shows the versatility. And I think that's going to be a key component this year. Versatility. We heard Patricia say it, plug and play, but he really didn't know what he was doing. So, but you see it in this O-line. So I'm excited. I want to see some pancakes, and I want running backs to be the syrup, man, and just man, it's gonna be
just drizzle all over the defensive.
Drizzle,
dude. That's to our original question, dude. Swift to the Pro Bowl or and then some. I mean, I think a big question is what's Swift going to do this year? How many yards Swift going to get? Right? What do you think?
1,000. I got him at over 1,000.
I hope so. I'm with you. I mean, he should, right?
10 12 carries a game at yeah.
Now, I did forget the question Scotty brought up earlier, but it didn't dawn on me. Again, y'all, my memory ain't what it used to be, okay?
Take it easy on yourself, okay?
I know. Okay. So really quick, let's answer this question, and then hold on, let me go back. I want to address this. I agree with Looney Tune when he say if you're just going to be looking for 5 to 7 wins, you might as well cap Matt Patricia. All right, now Scotty asked a good question, which is who would have the most receiving yards on the Lions team? So real quick, we'll say who that player is. For me, it is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think because of what they're going to try to do with having the 2 speedy guys on the outside take the top off. And if you only have but 1 speedy guy take the top off, people act like Josh Reynolds is not fast. I don't understand why he doesn't get talked about well enough, but I think a lot of it's going to go inside. And I think if you look at what they did when they added Cooper Kupp and they had Brandon Cooks, everything went underneath for a reason. So I think you'll see that same thing. But Scotty, give me your person who you think is going to have the most yards.
I'm going to go with who Miko went with last year. I'm going to go with Hockenson.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I am. Yes. So last year. So the funny part of this question, Luke, is last year we had this question, and because Hawk got hurt, I went rogue and said Amon-Ra is going to have the most receiving yards, and it was like, no way. And it was just because Hockenson got hurt, but still he got hurt and that happened. But I'm going to go with what Miko said last year. I think Hockenson, I think it's going to be close, but I think Hockenson, as long as he stays healthy, right? That's the thing. But I think this season he has to, and he's going to have the most opportunity in this offense. Some of the biggest, he and Amon-Ra St. Brown, to your point, in the middle, I think that's huge. It's going to be Amon-Ra or Hockenson, I think, unless, again, I just don't know that Reynolds is no joke. Can Goff drop dimes deep, right? If he can start doing that, that's the thing. But I'm gonna go with Hawk. So Miko,
okay.
that's a shout out to Meek.
Well, Miko,
I appreciate that.
Who are you saying is going to have the most yards this year in the Lions receiving core?
I'm gonna go Jameson Williams. Because I've already said that I expect him to start game 1. It may not look like it starting out the gate. He may, take him a little bit of time to build that chemistry with Goff, but I expect him to put up Jamar Chase numbers. I really do. I think he's going to really be that spark that the Lions needed, and I think we're going to be looking at a guy that's putting up, anywhere between 1,100 to 1,200 yards in his rookie season.
Okay. Listen, I ain't mad at you. Rumble, what say you? Who had the most yards this season?
I'm gonna go with one of the brand new shiny toys we brought in. Miko already took Jameson Williams. I'm gonna go Shark. I think this guy is on a prove it deal here. He was on a laughing stock of a team last year in the Jaguars. Let's be honest. Coaches out there grabbing little girls' heinies and whatnot. I think he likes the challenge here with Detroit. We're gonna be on the big stage, and he just fell in love with the culture. So I'm looking for him to go out there and prove it.
All right. Well, listen, this has been so much fun. I could not have done this without you guys. I have done a show with them as well. Hopefully they come back on. I get back over there. Like, the goal of it is, for me, is, I want to bring the shine to other people, because I think they do a great job. And I think what they do over there on the Questionable Podcast is worthy of the praise that it gets. So we're going to our final thoughts, starting off with my man's Scotty in the building. Give the people your final words of the day.
All right, I got a couple final words. So LA didn't make it, so I'm gonna give him a little something for everybody.
Oh man.
So I do that to Gian Hendricks when he pauses. He does these great pauses before his points, so I fill it with that. Anyway, so that, and I think the Lions are gonna do a lot of this.
Let's go. I said the Lions want a game. Man, we going on the way. We about to celebrate. Come on, y'all. Because the Lions want a game.
So yeah, so anyway, sorry, I had to get those two in, Luke.
Get it out in the spirit of it.
Got it out. Anyway, I want to thank you for having us on. Really appreciate it. Yes, please come back on. We'd love to come back on. Miko, I don't want to speak for you, but this was great. This was fun. I appreciate all the comments too. That was amazing. It was fun the way in which you do it, Luke. So thank you again. I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my wife, my daughter. I want to thank all the fans, all the crew for Questionable. We're doing a lot. We're working on a lot of things behind the scenes that are hopefully going to come to light in the next couple months. So, speaking of that, one of our questionable pieces, the Game Over piece we did for Darren McCarty, is going to be on the 1.5-hour documentary in between Game 1 and Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals in the next 3 weeks. So keep your eye out for that. So that's cool. So that'll be on ESPN. And yeah, I mean, we're, again, Luke, happy to be here. Appreciate the support. Rumble, great to hang with you today. That was fun.
Man, Scotty, yeah, you guys are legit, man. I'm so glad we got introduced, but I won't go ahead. Keep going, man.
No, you're good. I saw you commenting on I think Woodward the other day too. I'm
everywhere, man. I just love this community.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, again, I just want to thank everybody. Miko, obviously want to thank you always. But yeah, happy to be here. Luke, this was great. I mean, I really like the way you're doing it. So again, appreciate the support, and that's all I got. And the Lions to win a game, couple games.
Hey, salute. Then we're gonna go to his partner in crime, as you guys said, the wise, the at the dark,
and cultured.
The cultured at the dark guru of missionary. No skipping steps
with
here.
All of that on there. Wise cultured sex guru, Miko.
I know, no skipping steps around here. Okay, from the Questionable Podcast. Miko, give him the final thoughts.
Yeah, man. I again, Luke, like Scotty said, man, we appreciate your support, man. You've been so good to us. Again, trying to help us grow as a channel, and we really do appreciate that. That means a lot to us. But shout out to your followers, to your audience. You guys have been nothing but great. Some of you guys have come over, watched our content, engaged with us, and we appreciate that so much. That's the greatest form of validation that we can get from you guys, is just you guys willing to take time and again, even if it's disagreeing with us, giving your guys' opinion, because that makes us better as a podcast and as people that are trying to form our own opinions. But at the same time, I got to give a shout out to my wife, my girls. they allowed me to come on here on a Friday night, you know, when I should be probably laid up with my wife chilling. So huge shout out to them because they are my motivation. They are my everything. They are the reason I do what I do. But yeah, man, huge shout out to you, Scotty. Huge shout out to Gian. I'm a little sad that he couldn't be here. You guys think I'm wise? Gian is next level with his wisdom. So I guess I channeled.
We'll get him on. We'll get him on.
Yeah, we'll get him next time. I promise.
Dude, he's on the red carpets. I tell you guys every week. No one believes me, man. He's with Justin. They're making stuff for Netflix. I told him he's got to remember us when he goes to the top. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, Gion's big time. But yeah, man, huge shout out to you, Luke. Again, what you guys do here is amazing. And so yeah, just we couldn't say enough how much we appreciate the support.
Hey, listen, I will always support people who I think are better than me and doing great work. And I really do enjoy what you guys do. And I listen to it. I listen to all of it. And I wanted to make sure that you get the recognition because it's warranted and it's entertaining as hell. Like I said, I would never even thought to put that Missionaries Underrated on the video. Like, that's an eye catcher. And I was like, they're not going to talk about this for real. And I was like, oh, they really are. This is funny. I enjoy every bit of it. So shout out to you guys. Rumble, give the people your final thoughts of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, Scotty, Miko, man, you guys rock, man. I love it. I love the community. I love the energy you guys bring. And Scotty brought up something I had no idea about with the whole Darren McCarty. That's pretty dope, man. So, man, you guys are well on your way, man. The energy, you guys keep doing your thing, man.
Thanks, Rumble.
My final thoughts are, man, let's keep this positivity going within the community, man. These guys, Miko, Scotty, Luke, let's keep this community roaring. Let's be critical of our lines, but let's also praise them when they do something right. You know,
for sure.
But yeah, let's also give them hell when they don't. But yeah, man, I love this community. Thank you guys for rocking with us. I told Luke I had to be on here to just chop it up with you guys, man. I love you guys' energy. I love Luke's energy. I love what you guys bring. So thank you guys.
No, man, we appreciate it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to that dude live who says just sub. And if you are trying to figure out how to locate the videos and the channel, it is linked in the description. And going forward on every video I post, it will forever stay linked in the description. So you can always find it and not have an issue. Y'all know me, people. I want to thank my guests for coming on, my co-host Rumble, who jumped in with me, my guests Miko and Scotty Questions, and Gian, who I know is big time and would be doing it if he could, you know. I get it. But he was, you know, he's here in spirit. So shout out to you guys from the Questionable Podcast. And he says, I'm one of their early subs. These guys are good. You don't gotta tell me,
man.
You don't gotta tell me. When it came up in a suggestion, I went, and I was like, oh, okay. And I started scrambling, trying to catch up. And I was like, oh, we really doing this. Okay, let's get it. So, yes, 100% support what they're doing. Now, if anybody know anything about me, I got to do things on a positive note. So last time I got chewed out because it was an afterthought, even though it wasn't. I want to thank my wife, my beautiful children, for actually going to sleep and not terrorizing. The potty break put me on alert, but I'm happy. And the wife, thank you for giving me the time and the energy to be able to do this, because you know that this is it's therapeutic for me. So thank you, sweetheart. See, and now you can't say you were an afterthought because I love you. Now, to the final thoughts, my good people. Today's positive quote comes from the internet. I'm not sure who wrote this, but I thought this was dope. They says that the uninspired are easily influenced. The uninspired are easily influenced. People, this brought all type of quotes in my head. I tend to see a lot of people and hear a lot of things that stand out to me. When's the last time you've been inspired? When's the last time you decided to do something that required you to do things when you didn't want to do them? You see, I realized something. Y'all don't have a problem going to work for 8 hours for a company because it's cool to y'all. My best request to you is don't go and work 8 hours for a company, then come home and not go to work on your own goals. You're not tired. You're just simply uninspired. You don't have any reason to lift yourself to a point that makes you do something out of the box. But see, those who like to stay in the box often find themselves with other box dwellers, and they don't understand that this world is bigger than that box. I'm challenging you today to get inspired. Every single time you thought about getting up to go and work out and the gym just seemed too far away, or it was too damn hot or cold, or it was raining, suck it up and go. Get inspired to see a better version of yourself. I can tell you right now, one of my favorite places to get food from is Chipotle. I had to learn how to eat healthy at Chipotle because I realized that, hey, you can still enjoy it, just got to do it a little bit different. Maybe you don't get rice, you just get some chicken. My point is, when you get inspired, all the things that you thought that you had an excuse for become possible. All the things that you thought that you can make room for because I was just tired, it now becomes a need, like the breath you breathe. When you get to a point that it's a need and you are inspired to push the need forward, you will find the best version of yourself. Simply don't get too tired. You're just simply uninspired. Please take the time to find your inspiration and run for it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. And if you don't do nothing else, ladies and gentlemen, nothing else at all, don't be no chump. Please do your research. We are out.